There was a time when India actually lost a match to Pakistan and the whole of India celebrated. And it wasn't even a small loss. We had nearly been all out, a full 59 runs away from the target in the virtual semifinals of the Asia Cup. An Asia Cup where Pakistan were the defending champions, and by winning this, they could become back-to-back Asian champions. So today, we are gonna hear the story of what exactly happened, of how Pakistan, in spite of defeating India in the virtual semi-finals, saw themselves get booted out from a place in the finals. 13th March 2004 was the date where India, after a gap of 15 years, was going to tour Pakistan. In some people's eyes, this series was seen as hope. Hope that this cricketing diplomacy could help normalize the frozen relationship between these two neighbors. But a single look at the promotions surrounding the series would make it very clear there wasn't going to be anything friendly about this series. War on the pitch, time for revenge, to even that peculiar Pepsi ad.
बस प्यार और दोस्ती,
अमन और शांति।
मैं तो बाउंसर से नहीं डरूंगा।
वाह क्या टीम है, मिल बांट कर रहेंगे, मिल बांट कर खेलेंगे और मिल बांट कर पेप्सी भी पी लेंगे। क्यों?
मिल बांट के कैसे पी लेंगे?
ड्रामेबाज।
And it wasn't just the public, mind you. In the run-up to the series, when the Indian players were told that security concerns may get this tour cancelled, nearly half the members of the team spoke up in opposition, staunchly stating that they did not want to lose the opportunity of beating Pakistan in Pakistan. Now those were big words, especially given the fact that we had not even won a single test match in Pakistan by this point. And ODIs weren't much better. In 20 years of playing history, we had won just 3. And that's not even going into the weird slump the team seemed to be in, losing 3 finals in a row along with getting defeated 3 times at home. Now, if there was some silver lining to all of this, then it was that Pakistan seemed to be doing as bad as India. First, they get thrown out of the World Cup in group stages itself, followed by losing the finals of BA Cup and losing a series to South Africa at home. Now, thankfully, this humiliation seemed to have jolted them awake, as they would respond to this by defeating New Zealand in New Zealand, winning a test series there after a full decade. And the main architects behind the resurgence, the newly made main pacer duo, Shoaib Akhtar and Mohammad Sami. Ever since the old lineup, Wasim and Waqar, had been sidelined, the Pakistani team had been looking for a new lethal combo. And this 29 and 21-year-old pair together had the necessary pace to put fear into any opponent they wanted. And though this series would be the first time they were to be the main attack on such a large stage in the media's eyes, this series was to be a battle between the Pakistani bowling and the Indian batting. But then, the moment the series actually started, there was a very interesting pattern that seemed to be developing. For some reason, Pakistan's luck seemed to be in inverse proportion to Mohammad Sami's form. If Sami does well, Pakistan loses. And if Sami is playing badly, for some reason, Pakistan keep on winning. Let me show you with an example. In a first ODI, while having a mediocre outing, Sami strikes twice in the 48th over to keep the final tally within Pakistan reach. But then, in spite of having 4 wickets in hands and needing 24 in 18 balls, Pakistan go on to lose the match. The second ODI is a bit of an outlier. Sami performs well, Pakistan wins. But the third, on a pure bowling pitch, Sami performs abysmally, their worst bowler by a mile, and Pakistan wins the match. And then the last 2 matches of the series, Sami, seemingly angry with his last match's performance, goes on to put a bowling exhibition, holding a beautiful line, taking out well-set batsmen time and again. And Pakistan loses both of the matches. Sami, even after becoming the highest wicket taker in this ODI series, sees his team lose the series to India for the very first time at home. Now, if you think I'm making a mountain out of a molehill, that all of this can be just coincidence, then let me take you through the test series once, where a dangerous looking Sehwag is demolishing the entire Pakistani attack. The only bowler giving him trouble is Shakleen Mushtaq. And then while playing 168, Sehwag tries to hit him to deep mid-wicket, where Sami has been put for that exact shot, and he drops it.
Mohammad Sami has dropped it. He's dropped a sitter.
Sehwag goes on to score India's first triple century, and Pakistan go on to lose that match by an inning. Now, put in contrast the second test to this one, when in spite of bowling on a perfect paces pitch, Sami and Shoaib Akhtar can't seem to hold a line. And Umar Gul comes in and tears through the Indian lineup. And so, we come to the final match, the series deciding match, where Pakistan, after being reduced to 137 for 8, have Sami coming forward as a batsman, creating a 70-run partnership that sees him nearly complete his half century. And then he follows that up by coming out and bowling 3 extremely hostile spells. And the reward he gets for this? An absolutely plum LBW for Dravid not being given, followed by a simple catch to Yasir Hamid dropped, resulting in Dravid going on to score a masterful 270, taking India to a mammoth 600, a total that hands India the match by an inning and 131 runs. Not only had India won their first victory in Pakistani soil, but they had done so by completing a series sweep. So you can imagine the amount of abuse this Pakistani team was gonna get. And what would make things even worse was that this was to be the last series of this season. Meaning that Pakistani public now had months and months to marinate in their anger and resentment. Anger that was quickly directed to the Pakistani team and their 2 main bowlers. So by the time the break was about to end and the Asia Cup was about to start, the whole of Pakistani team had become desperate. Desperate to get some revenge for their country. After all, what better way to show their mettle to their nation than to become back-to-back Asian champions? But it was here that they were going to run into a bit of a problem. Because this tournament put in place a unique tournament format. 6 teams in 2 groups, 4 teams qualified to the Super 4s, where a bonus point system would make things complicated. Now suppose Team A scores 300 runs in the first inning. Then based on that total, a bonus point margin was to be given. For this example, let's say that margin is 250. Now, if Team B is all out before reaching 250, then Team A gets the 5 winning points plus 1 bonus point. But if Team B manages to cross that 250 mark, then even if they lose the match, they will get 1 point. Meaning, irrespective of who wins, there will always be 6 points in play, 5 for the winning team and 1 based on the bonus point margin. Now, when the rule was made, nobody was expecting it to be a big deal. After all, with Sri Lanka's form coming into this tournament and it being played at their home, they were the outright favourites. They were supposed to defeat each and every team in the Super 4s, and credit where credit is due, things went according to plan. Sri Lanka first defeating Bangladesh and Pakistan, with India defeating Bangladesh. But then, as soon as the India-Pakistan match started, virtual semifinals, things took an unexpected turn. Shoaib Malik, someone who at this point of time just averaged 27, now would suddenly decide to emulate Sehwag. A near blind onslaught on Indian bowlers was started, not giving a care whether he got out or not. Edges after edges were given, regulation stumping missed. And through all of these lifelines, he somehow managed to last nearly the entire 50 overs. On a ground where in that tournament, the highest total posted was 191. Shoaib Malik had single-handedly scored 143 runs, taking Pakistan to a monumental 300 runs. Now, if this wasn't bad enough, Sami's first over was to go for 10 runs, meaning he was going to have a bad day, Sehwag got out in the second over. Ganguly tried to stabilize the inning, but even he departed, followed by Dravid on 94. By the time Yuvraj and Kaif made their way back to the pavilion, India still had half the runs to go, with Sachin and Irfan Pathan being the only batsmen left. So, frankly speaking, the writing was on the wall. There was no saving this match. And so, Ganguly and the coach Don Wright came up with a plan. If we try to go after the main target, the moment Sachin gets out, we lose any chance of even getting to the bonus point. And if we don't get the bonus point, then Pakistan will have the same amount of points India has by the end of this match. But whereas Pakistan's next match is against Bangladesh, we were to play the unbeaten Sri Lanka, who had somehow not even considered a single bonus point in this tournament. And in case, just in case, we are able to defeat them and get a bonus point, then both Sri Lanka and Pakistan already have a much higher NRR than us. So in spite of everybody being on the same points, we would be the most likely one to get knocked out. So, the highest chances of actually making it up to the finals were to give up on this match. Give up on this match and just make sure that you get the bonus point. And then just try your level best to defeat Sri Lanka the next match. That way, even if you don't get a bonus point there, Pakistan cannot touch us anymore. And this strategy quickly found support across the board. The new target was 241. 241, that's 90 runs in 21 overs. And so we had, all of a sudden, test match being played in the middle of an ODI. Over after over, dot after dot. Especially doing this was Irfan Pathan, who at that point of time had gone above 30 just once in his entire career. It looked as if he had Fevicalled himself to the crease, simply refusing to move from there. Now, Pakistan would quickly catch on to this tactic, but initially they would just allow it to happen because after all, Sachin was there and they had to make sure that India had no chance of actually winning. But thereafter, once they were sure, they too switched the tactic. They are not trying to score, so forget about the runs. Just start targeting the stumps. Force them to play. Get them out. On the other hand, we also had Sachin, who had to make sure that the required run rate for the bonus margin does not go out of hand. And these two situations came together to take Sachin's wicket in the 42nd over, with India requiring just 27 runs from 42 balls. Something that should have been a breeze by any stretch of the imagination. However, Indian cricketing history is rife with examples after examples of chases in tournaments much more important than this had been quickly squandered the moment Sachin got out. And here, Sachin getting out made the Pakistani bowlers, who in spite of winning the match, were looking as if the wind had been knocked out of them, suddenly seeming to get a new life, beginning to attack the tailenders with a newfound vengeance. And all of a sudden, even the bonus margin target started looking difficult. The Pakistani pacers were bowling with such accuracy, such lethality, that even getting a single run in an over seemed to be an extremely difficult prospect. The gap between the balls and the runs was quickly depleting. Bhaji fell quickly, so did Kumble come close. Irfan Pathan would try his level best to protect the bowler on the other end, but even his brave defense would come to an end when in the 49th over, with India needing 8 runs out of 8 balls, he fell. Balaji would take a risky double on the last ball of the over, bringing the total down to 6 for 6, and the much more experienced Kumble to take the strike in the last over, and bowling to him with the aim of shutting down all Indian hopes of taking revenge for everything that he had been through. You had Mohammad Sami. And I know what you are asking. How exactly was Sami bowling till this point in the match? Well, let's get the answer from the last over itself. The first ball, a dot. The second ball, a dot again. The third, a desperate Kumble with a wild swing that somehow connects for a 4. 2 required from 3 balls. Now, normally you would expect the bowler to get frustrated, especially Sami, who had been through so much. But frankly speaking, he must have gotten used to it by this point. Luck was never on his side when India was standing against him. So he just seemed to shrug it off and once again ball a perfect ball. 2 required in 2. And then came the ball that was gonna change the entire complexion of this match. A near perfect ball once again. The batsman go for a desperate leg by run. The ball is already in Moin Khan's hands and he misses. 1 run in 1 ball. What happens next? Frankly, after seeing so much for so long, I'm just gonna let the tape run and let you feel what Sami must have felt in that moment.
Once again, missing it. And they pick up another run in similar fashion.
2 perfect balls, 2 leg byes, 2 perfect stumping opportunities, and India reaches the target. By losing by 59 runs instead of 60, they had gotten the bonus point. And as you can imagine, that one bonus point in the end made all the difference. Sri Lanka, for the first time in this entire tournament, lost to India, meaning the final table looked something like this. Pakistan, in spite of having a much higher NRR than India, in spite of defeating India, had lost out on the final. The months-long humiliation of Pakistan had finally been completed.